Brendan asks, with Elon buying Twitter, how much money would someone have to offer you to sell LTT?
Whew.
I think if they offered $44 billion.
$44 billion would be pretty hard to say no to. I'd have to wonder what the terms are. Like, am I some kind of like sex slave for the rest of my life as part of the deal? I mean, you never know with the elites, right? I mean,
True.
man,
Yeah, fair enough.
the kinds of rumors that swirl around the billionaire class are just like hilarious. Like, did you ever hear the one about how the
is the amount? Sorry, you were in the middle of saying something, but what was that guy's name who had the island? He's super sketchy dude.
What's his face? The guy, Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of them that had photos with that dude or like hung out with him a lot. It's like, there's a lot of rumors.
Yeah.
Might be true.
Did you ever hear the one about the co-founders of one of the FANG companies? I just don't feel like naming them because it could be not accurate. But
yeah, allegedly.
One of the co-founders of one of the FANGs apparently had a soundproof room for conducting meetings. Completely soundproof.
Oh, yeah.
But like, apparently it was like in their home.
Oh.
And I'm sitting here going, what do you need that for?
I don't know if I mentioned this on WAN, but there's a I struggle to say confirmed. Allegedly, there's a couple people that were founders of one kind of fangy company, and a single person who was a founder of another company that isn't technically included in Fang, but it would be that had an apartment that was completely sound blocked off, that they would go to on a private elevator up to that apartment. It's completely soundproofed. There's a chef that has a different entry that goes to a kitchen. They leave food in like a certain area that is completely blocked off. They have no access from the kitchen into the rest of the apartment. And then to get the food, the chef has to leave, and then they go in and get their food. And they have meetings in there, or at least used to. Crazy. Nuts.
Okay. How much money would someone have to offer you to sell LTT? Well, I can tell you for a fact that even if I got an offer that was millions of dollars, right now I am not at a stage in my career, and I think I speak for myself. I speak for my wife, who, as most of you, I think, probably know, you guys are WAN show regulars. My wife, who is my business partner, so we are pretty much 50-50 owners. It's a little complicated. Have I ever told the story about how I went full ego trip and I was like, can I have 51%? Back when we were setting up the company?
That's incredibly lame.
I legitimately... Okay, so hold on a second. My justification for it is actually not completely ridiculous. Would you like to hear my justification, or would you like to sit there judging me?
I'm going to do both.
You're going to do both. Okay. My justification for it is that I liked being like the majority shareholder, founder, whatever. But at the end of the day, because we're married with no prenuptial agreement whatsoever, if we were to split up, my 51% goes half to me and half to her, and her 49% goes half to me and half to fucking anyway. It actually doesn't matter. So I was like, look, this doesn't matter. I just want to be like, Lions Media Group, I have the controlling, interest or whatever. And it was like, it was totally stupid, and I totally get it, but it also totally doesn't matter. And she and I both knew it at the time. So that's my justification for it. It actually doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
Are you still judging?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still stupid. Is it less lame?
Linus and shares has always been an interesting thing. That's all I'll say. And I'm not surprised is another thing that I will say.
I like controlling the direction of the company.
Entirely, in every possible way. Yeah.
Have I done a bad job?
Yes. No, it's been good.
Oh my God. What a dick. what a dick.
As I sit here and drink from my LTT store water bottle, wearing my LTT store underwear and LTT store shirt. Yeah, it's been horrible.
Yeah, I've clearly done a very bad job. So anyway, I was just like, and I asked. If she had said no, it would have been 50-50. And
wait, she said yes?
Yeah, she was like, fine, whatever. I mean, well, she let me call it Linus Media Group too.
Yeah.
I was open to other ideas.
True.
I kind of want to change it. You know what? And in fairness to me, I recently offered to do another 9 years the other way around. I was like, tell you what, how about we do the paperwork? I want us to, I want you to feel like we were having a conversation where like she felt like I was overriding something. And I was like, look, no, I don't want you to feel like that. Yes, I have my convictions and I have my opinions and there's a way that I feel we should do it, but I don't, it's not that I'm not listening or it's not that we can't do it your way. I tend to be a very passionate arguer. That's all.
True. Fair enough. You've also traditionally, and you've gotten a lot better specifically with Yvonne lately. And it seems like she's appreciating it, which is cool. But you've also had maybe some tendencies to not exactly share the credit.
Yes, that's fair.
Or accolades for things in the past.
I tend to speak in the singular. Yvonne has,
yes.
In fairness, again, to me, Yvonne has, oh boy, she's going to watch this. Yvonne has made her own bed to an extent when it comes to how public facing she is. There have
that does not
countless
that
opportunities.
Is not an excuse. That
there
does
have
not
been
count.
Countless opportunities.
No. Just like with those, you're wrong. So
what? I'm wrong with these?
Yes. When you said like that's not a fair question to ask or whatever in the pre-show.
Oh. I
no.
ended up being
no.
right-ish.
So she decided to take that stance, and then things that she did were claimed as actions from you.
Well, what? Whoa, hold on. What did I take credit for?
I'm not going to be able to give good examples of this. I'm talking about over the last 10 years, and this is something that she has approached you about.
Oh, well, here's an
well.
accusation, but I'm afraid. Objection.
Okay.
Hearsay.
Okay, that would be fair, and it would stand up in court. You get that. But you know this is a thing.
Objection, hearsay.
And again,
from a legal standpoint, I'm winning this argument.
You are. And I did say, however, that it has gotten better recently.
Well, the thing
especially in the two more recent videos that she has shown up in.
Yep.
There's been a lot more like credit
she has expressed more desire to
fair enough,
to play a more public role.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I think part of it is that she just didn't have the energy to play a public role for a long time.
Fair enough.
Like you got to understand, the thing is that Yvonne's biggest contribution to Linus Media Group was actually made working at a different company than Linus Media Group, because without Yvonne's seed capital,
like financial support arm,
Linus Media Group does not exist.
Yeah.
It never makes it to this stage. And then without her ongoing financial guidance, it never hits that hockey stick moment where it takes off. And all of that is stuff that takes place inherently kind of behind the scenes, especially when you're so busy working on that stuff that you don't have time to go say, I don't know, start a cupcake decorating channel as an offshoot that we promote to try to build our female audience, or all the legitimate business cases that we could make for Yvonne taking a more front and center role. It's also not something that she's always been the most comfortable with. I mean, sometimes, and you know,
hasn't always loved being on camera.
Sorry?
Hasn't always loved being on camera.
No, and sometimes, you know, if I had to pick my wife's biggest flaw, it's insecurity. Literally, her biggest flaw is not realizing how awesome she is, which I think is not going to land me on the couch, but that's not why I chose it. That's actually true. And it's something that I've been chasing her about pretty much since the day we met, because especially when we met, boy, was I ever punching up. Like, she settled, man.
she like, and you know this isn't a dig. It's very true.
I'm just going to say, guys out there, find an insecure chick, because she's
wow.
going to be so much better than you would have done otherwise.
Not a great take.
No,
Yikes.
I'm
okay.
obviously kidding.
I'm just saying.
But in all seriousness, I was, in my opinion, clearly punching up. And
yeah,
over the years, it's been something that she struggled with, is she hasn't realized like how one of my favorite songs. Okay, one of the songs that reminds me of her most is One Direction's "You Don't Know You're Beautiful," because she just like has no idea. I'll be like, "Yeah, you did great," and she'll be like, "Oh, I could have fixed this 100 things." I'm like, "Yeah, you could have, but you did great." Like,
I know,
who cares?
especially. I heard about this, especially more early on. It might still be a thing, I don't know, but I know she was very self-conscious about her work here as well.
Oh, I know.
And it's like,
man,
actually, you're kicking bleep button butt. I don't know where it is, but ass.
Oh, you can say ass. I think it's fine. Ass
I don't know.
Probably fine.
Whatever, sounds good. But like, it's just but it was, I feel like it was very hard for her to see that.
Yep.
And I think that's like, I don't know what necessarily changed, but something changed there where she wanted more recognition, and I feel like maybe it was her seeing that.
Maybe.
And then being like, now I want the accolades, which is cool because she deserves them.
I mean, it's to be clear, guys. This is something that I have talked to Yvonne about extensively over the years. This is not something that's going to be some kind of a surprise for her. We have an extremely open, I don't want to say an extremely open relationship. That is
Almost. We were so close. I was watching that train go at that wall.
it didn't quite hit the wall. Got a little off the rails. We have a policy of extremely open communication in our relationship because we wouldn't have made it this far without it. And there are times when, honestly, she will just tell me, yeah, this is something that I could take more of a front-facing role on, but honestly, I just don't feel like talking to people right now. Why don't you announce it, or why don't you say it, or I like the way you say it. Just
and I will say in the credit to both of you, as well as someone who's literally lived with you for an extended period of time, conflict resolution seems quite strong.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, Luke has probably overheard far more than really I realized at the time, and I'm comfortable with. Our walls are not as thick as I think we assumed.
Yeah, not so much. That's okay though.
Yeah, but we really do live by principles like never go to bed angry.
Yeah.
Even if it means we're up till 4 a.m, like you just can't. Anyway, the point is not to get into like relationship tips or whatever. The point is
how do we even get to this topic?
Yes, I have not given enough credit to her over the years. It has always been my instinct. I mean, I think it's okay. Oh boy, here we go. More hot takes. I do find it takes a certain type to get into a social media role. You have to be an attention seeker to a degree. There are exceptions, but you have to at least enjoy whatever type of spotlight it is that you end up taking for yourself, whether it's a more behind the scenes kind of spotlight, like a CGP Grey, whether you like having people, whether you like just sharing and educating, you're still in a spotlight, even if it's like a necessary evil kind of spotlight.
Yeah,
so
you might hate it. I mean, we've seen this by people who like become internet famous by accident, basically.
Yeah, but you have to at least be able to tolerate it. You have to have a certain amount of charisma, right? And that's not something that comes naturally to everyone. I forget why I started this sentence, so it doesn't really matter.
We're talking about how much money it would take to sell it.
Oh, right. Yeah, how much money it would take.
I have another thing if you're still thinking about it.
No, I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, but hit me.
So I often have to reference what Floatplane does by trying to reference all of the companies. Because at this point, we do a certain amount of thing for all of the companies. And especially with the hiring and expansion that we're doing, we're going to be doing even more of that, which is great. But saying all of the companies, or like the greater companies, or the companies under the numbered umbrella, or whatever, is getting really annoying.
Yeah, we do kind of need a name for our umbrella organization. And and it should be something different. Honestly, what I would like to do over the next 3 to 5 years is remove the Linus branding from everything that we do. I would like Linus Tech Tips to become LTT, and I slip up sometimes, but I'm trying to get in the habit of only referring to it as LTT. Like sometimes in a video, it'll be like, "Are we going to do this halfway?" No. This is Linus Tech Tips, baby. And so I want to be like, no, this is LTT. Like I want to shift that branding. I mean, we've already been doing it on the merch for years now. We almost never print Linus on anything because it's just time to move away from it. There's so many more people here. It's group. It's not Linus anymore, right? When the Linus Media Group thing.
Oh, call it group.
I'm not calling it group. Sounds like fish, like grouper group or something. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, no, we're not calling it Umbrella Corp. That's very funny though. So I want to move Linus Tech Tips away. I want Linus Media Group to become a brand that we sort of phase out. And then I want to create a brand for that umbrella organization that contains LTT Productions or whatever.
Okay.
That contains Creator Warehouse, that contains Floatplane. And I'd like to do all the branding around that because it's becoming clear to me as we go that, and this is coming back around to the question, it's becoming clear to me as we go that we are eventually going to have to raise capital in some way. We cannot, Yvonne and I cannot keep reinvesting personally and doubling down every single time that we need to grow, whether it's labs, whether it's backpacks and screwdrivers, whatever it is, whatever it was, a new facility. At some point, the not stupid thing to do is take some kind of outside capital in some way. And I think that if we were to raise some kind of funds, we would want to do it as that umbrella organization rather than as one of the individual silos within it. So
but yeah, having some form of name and being able to point at that name as like something that's legitimate would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wannick Enterprises Limited. Not bad. Wannick. Arvare says, please don't go public. So there's lots of different ways to raise funds. Going public is obviously one of them, but it's far from the only way to do it. I don't know what it looks like. Yeah.
New Wannick Incorporated. Nice.
All right. So it was with Elon buying Twitter, how much money would someone have to offer you to sell LTT? So coming back to the question, I have spoken with the executive team here. I have spoken with Yvonne. We are not at a place where we are ready to sell. And so the offer kind of doesn't matter. And the reason for that is that whatever the offer is going to be based on business fundamentals, like your, earnings before interest, tax, and your EBITDA. Okay, so it could be based on that. It could be based on some kind of multiple of revenue, but there are formulas for valuing a business. And we are in a position right now where we believe we have such a period of explosive growth ahead of us with Creator Warehouse, with new channels, with the lab, that we would be stupid to take any kind of offer today rather than what would come a year, 2 or 3 years from now.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting. So I just don't want, and I don't think that we would be able to guide this organization toward the success that we think we're headed towards if we didn't have full control. Am I a control freak?
Yes.
It was a rhetorical question, asshole, but
yes.
Yes, I am. I was going to answer it. I was going to give
because
the same
you
answer.
Dude, okay. The most hilarious thing to me was back in the house when you were pushing me to show up on camera really hard, but couldn't actually let me have a video just by myself either. That dichotomy was one of the weirdest things to have to like work out in my brain ever. He would run downstairs because he'd realize we were filming something, but he would realize it too late, or he'd be on a call or something. And you'd literally hear him sprinting from his desk downstairs to get in the shot and would like dive into the shot as I'm doing the outro to make sure that he was in it.
I was actually kind of just having fun with you, but there's probably some kind of broken psychological
we'll call him A,
too.
we'll call him B.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Thanks for watching, and thanks to mechanicalkeyboards.com for sponsoring this week's clips. Mechanicalkeyboards.com has a ton of keyboards, switches, keycaps, and more, all from brands you know and love. Check them out and use code LTT using the link in the video description.